Okay, so we have find the derivative of sine root x. So we can see this as the same thing as sine x 1 over 2. Alright, so if we want to find the derivative of this, we have to first find the derivative and multiply it by this entire thing. So that would be 1 over 2 times x to the negative 1 over 2, which is 1 over 2 root x. How we do this is we have 1 over 2 x to the negative 1 over 2. So when the exponent is negative, we actually want to move the x to the denominator so that it becomes positive. Alright. Next thing we have to do is find the derivative of sine. So the derivative of sine is cosine. So all you gotta do is write cosine, and then the root x stays in there. The formal way to write this be cosine root x over 2 root x. And because the root x is not on the left side of cosine, but rather inside its parentheses, it is not allowed to simply just cross out the root x on both the numerator and denominator. So this would be our final answer for this one. Alright, the derivative of sine cubed x. So another way you can think about this is sine x, and then in parentheses is cubed. When it's like this, what I like to do is just use the chain rule. So if you do 3 sine cubed x, or sorry, not cubed, it is squared x, and then we have to multiply by the derivative of the inside of the parentheses, which is cosine x. So this is actually your final answer. Okay, x squared minus 2x minus 3 over x plus 1. Okay, so a little shortcut you can do here. If you try to factor the top out, you could do x times x plus 1 times x minus 3, because 1 times negative 3 is negative 3, and 1 minus 3 is negative 2, which matches with the equation. So then on the bottom is x plus 1, and since these are multiplying by each other, you can actually just cross this out. And so you only have to find the derivative of x minus 3, which is just 1. Okay, so here, this one is pretty simple. Since it's adding them together, you don't have to use like a product rule or a quotient rule or anything like that. You just simply find the derivatives of each one. So the derivative of sine 2e to the x, so the derivative of inside the parentheses of the sine would just be 2e to the x, and derivative of sine is cosine, and this stays the same. ln of x, it becomes 1 over x, and that is your final answer. Okay, so 2 ln over x, that's the same thing as 2 times 1 over x. Since the derivative of ln over x is 1 over x, then you can just write it out as 2 over x, and that is your answer. Lastly, we have sine 2x, over 2x squared. So for this one, you'll actually have to use a quotient rule. And if you don't remember the quotient rule, goes as so. So you are given f of x over g of x, and then that becomes f prime of x times g of x minus g prime of x times f of x. And by prime, I mean the derivative. That's all over g of x squared. And this is a concrete rule. You must always find the derivative of the numerator first, and then subtract it by the denominator's derivative next. Okay, so let's apply that rule over here. So our f of x is sine 2x, and the derivative of this, again, we take the derivative inside the parentheses of the sine, which is 2x, and that is 2. So it is 2 cosine 2x, and then we multiply that by the denominator, 2x squared. Next, we're going to find the derivative of the denominator first, which is the power rule. So 2 times 2. We get 4, and then we subtract 1 from the exponent, so we're left with 4x. And then we multiply that by the numerator, which is sine 2x, and that is it for that. On the denominator, we have 2x squared, so we have 4x to the power of 4. Okay, so we can simplify this now. 2x squared times 2 cosine 2x, we get 4x squared cosine 2x minus 4x sine 2x. This still is over 4x to the 4th. And this is our final answer.